A little rain won't stop us here in Leesburg, Virginia at Segra Field. It's an East versus West showdown between Oakland Roots SC and Loudoun United FC. Alongside Chris Nurse, I'm Josh Appel. Thanks so much for spending part of your Saturday night with us as we take a look at the Eastern Conference standings with Loudoun United in third place in the East, trailing Charleston and Lou City.
Yeah, you kind of feel like Loudoun have lost a little bit of that momentum that they had earlier in the season when they were keeping up with Charleston Louisville. As you can see, the distance now in points has got a solid 10-point margin, so it's going to be interesting to see how their season continues as we go into the second half. But obviously, missing Abukura tonight is going to be a huge loss. It's going to be interesting to see how they continue to evolve without their biggest striker.
They were without him last week, as you mentioned, and they were able to pull a point from a losing position yet again this season. They lead the league in that category. One of the toughest places to play in Pittsburgh, 2-2 draw.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the strengths of all the top teams who will be competing for the championship is their depth off the bench. You need players who can come in when your starters are out and have an impact. And that was the case last week when Wines' goal coming in the 93rd minute. He manages to get the equalizing goal to steal a point.
Abdelatif Albacora, he'll miss his second match in a row. Originally got hurt against Orange County a few weeks ago. He's tied for the Golden Boot lead with Cal Jennings of Charleston. It's hard to call a player irreplaceable, but if there was someone that is, Abdelatif Albacora qualifies.
Yeah, he has 14 out of the 24 goals that Loudoun have scored so far this season. So more than 50% of the goals come from Abukura, and I questioned that early in the season when you're so dominant or reliable and one person's football in the back of the net, what happens when he's injured or he's with national teams and out for a sustained period of time. So we're seeing a response. Last week they managed to get a point, but I think their attack definitely runs through Abukura, and he's a big loss right now.
On the other side, Benny Feilhaber now coaching in his 7th game as the head coach of Oakland Roots. There you see them in 11th place in the West, but you can see how jumbled it is. A draw tonight pulls them level with Las Vegas, who plays later on this evening against Orange County. It's a big one for this cross-country trip for Oakland.
Yeah, and I think that this phase of the season, once you're over the halfway mark, every point, every game matters. So as you can see, it's a small margin into the playoffs, which is the expectation for this club, is to be competing in the playoffs. But I think the honeymoon period is almost over, and sometimes when you get a new coach, the players respond well. There's more energy, they want to impress, and then you have to figure things out. You have to get your formation, your structure, and then everything builds from there. Just
2 losses in the first 6 games for Oakland under Benny Feilhaber, but last week was the second, a 2-1 loss at home to Phoenix. They took the lead 1-0 on this goal by Maury Donor in the first half, but Phoenix scoring from outside the box twice in the second half to take the 3 points on the road. But Chris, Maury Donor, what an addition he has been to this club over from Detroit.
And obviously he needs some players that he's worked with in the past to be able to do that.
Donor's got goals in 2 of his last 3. He'll try and make it 3 out of 4 tonight, as Oakland makes its first visit to Loudoun since 2023. We'll have lineups and we'll have kick next on ESPN+.
Meet Bob.
Did you sign up for your boating class?
Nah, I gotta learn how to swim first.
Meet Abishola.
New shoes?
They are a lifestyle.
They fell in love and now have a blended family.
You are a bad influence.
You're welcome.
Life isn't always easy when cultures collide.
Hey, Auntie.
But they can always count that Abishola loves Bob.
Everything's gonna be great.
And Bob hearts Abishola.
Weekdays at 7 on DCW 50.
This is business today. Fast, unpredictable, always changing. Shifting trends and technologies are pushing aside old rules. The unexpected is the new normal. At Segra, we'll help you navigate a complex future with state-of-the-art voice, internet, and data protection solutions. We know you have dreams, and we see your potential. Segra, freedom to grow.
Michelle, I'm starting to like this new edition that you surprised me with.
Well, you better, because it's not like we can send it back.
What's truly exciting is the expanded reach we now have with the public. Bradley can now handle all of your automotive needs from Fredericksburg to Leesburg.
We're essentially offering double the resources to our customers, twice the service capacity, twice the parts inventory, and twice the supply of new and pre-owned vehicles.
Visit Michelle Bradley Chevrolet in Leesburg.
What kind of future do you want? You have something worth fighting for.
Failure is not an option. Anyone? Just a second, Bradley. Anyone?
On this field, winners are born.
Hold on to your butts.
I know who did it.
I know why.
My thing's bigger.
Shut up.
Settle up, partner.
Here goes nothing.
Get your game on.
Thanks for coming after me.
And we look forward to our very bright future.
Welcome back to Segra Field. The rain has subsided, and we've got USL Championship action for you tonight. East versus West between Loudoun and Oakland. Tonight's starting lineups are brought to you by VSI, the ultimate choice for ultimate spine solutions. Zach Ryan back for Loudoun United, but Abdelatif Abakora missing his second consecutive game.
Yeah, and it's interesting to see Zach Ryan doesn't automatically come back into starting 11, even with the absence of Abakora, but that's the hot talking point right now is they're missing the player who's got 14 out of 24 goals this season so far for Loudoun. Who's going to replace that output?
And then for Benny Feilhaber, now coaching in his 7th game at the helm of Oakland. No Kai Green tonight, a surprise before the match. He is unavailable for Oakland. Former Loudoun United member, Panos Armanakis, up there trying to lead this team again with Maury Doan, who's had a great little stint here so far with the Roots.
Yeah, for Feilhaber, it's a little bit different. Probably still in the honeymoon period where the results and expectations are probably a little less intense than they will be in a couple of weeks' time as we get closer to the playoffs. Still trying to stamp his authority on the team, create a culture, find out what's his best starting lineup, and then obviously he's going to be judged from that point. But at this moment, I imagine he's still in the exploration stage, figuring out what's going to work for this organization and for this group of players that he has going forward.
Gerald Flores, our referee, as we are underway from Segra Field. Oakland in the black, Loudoun United in the red. Josh Appel, Chris Nurse with you tonight on ESPN Plus. Thanks so much for spending part of your night with us. Nearly given away by Loudoun. Go Faroux, first in the Eastern Conference in saves among goalkeepers, second among USL Championship keepers overall. This is the 200th game tonight for Ryan Martin as head coach of Loudoun, as Gagi gets the start tonight as well for Oakland Roots.
Yeah, it would be great to sit down with Ryan Martin and ask him how his style of play or his coaching has evolved from game 0 to 10 compared to game 190 to game 200. I imagine there's a lot of changes that have happened in those 200 games so far, but sustaining that all with one organization is, of course, a huge accomplishment given the way that managers and head coaches so frequently lose their work so quick in today's environment.
There's an injured player back behind. Looks like Gomez, who is down for Oakland Roots. 24-year-old in his 3rd season with Oakland.
Well, there's a little rain earlier today. I think the players will appreciate the overcast sky and the slick surface. The rain would obviously make the surface beautiful for sliding balls along the floor, along the artificial turf, and obviously the cloud protects you a little bit from the sun at this time of year. Those who are just watching the Club World Cup will understand how brutal that heat can be and playing in those temperatures. And I bet they're a little bit grateful for the shade and the ability to probably play the game a little more of an intense tempo than we've seen over the past couple of weeks.
Here's what happened. Danny Gomez, Nyman making the contact from behind. Oof. Good to see Gomez sitting up. And now back onto his feet.
That's it.
So as we mentioned, Ryan Martin, great sport coat tonight. 200 game as Loudoun United head coach. He's been here for a while, has really built this up now into a team this season that is 3rd place in the Eastern Conference, trying to clinch a playoff spot for the first time in club history.
Yeah, I think you saw the real boss behind the boss there. You know that it's always the partner that runs the house. But a fantastic accomplishment and obviously a very valuable one to be able to share that moment and spend it with your family. These are moments and memories that last a lifetime.
Velo tried to keep it alive. Riley for Oakland stepped in the way of it. Riley getting the start tonight in place of Kai Green. Riley's dealt with some injuries this season as well. Last week for Loudoun, a 2-2 draw at Pittsburgh without Zach Ryan, who was serving a red card suspension, and without Abdelatif Abakora. Went to a place, as Gomez returns to the pitch, went to a place in Pittsburgh that is incredibly difficult to win. Bob Lilly's side known for their structure defensively. They're excellent at home, and without arguably their two best scorers, and Ryan and Abakura. They're able to put up 2, including a stoppage time equalizer to earn the draw and earn another result from a losing position, as the foul is committed here, and it'll be a deep free kick for Loudoun United as Leggett went down.
I'd definitely say this season there's a couple of probably outlier teams this season that we're maybe not used to seeing in previous years. Pittsburgh this year is not necessarily the Pittsburghs that we've seen in previous years, and for sure Tampa Bay Rowdies. Anytime you used to get a point against Tampa Bay Rowdies, teams would celebrate almost like winning the league. They're not the maybe losing a couple of big players and staff turnovers has led to some turbulence throughout the organization and the structures of the teams. And there's a couple of new emergents, with Loudoun being one of those teams that were maybe a mid-table team previously, but now up there competing with the best at the top. So evolving times in the USL Championship in both conferences.
Some trouble for Learman, who had a costly handball against Pittsburgh last week.
Yeah, I heard he was trying to get a trade to the NBA.
The vert was good. It was impressive. He was trying to deny the entry pass down to the post.
I'm trying to figure out what button got pressed for his arm just to fly up there like that. and then the injury after the hand, it was quite a strange sequence of events, to say the least.
Yeah, certainly not a moment that Loudoun wants to ever replicate again, as El Masnaoui goes down. Play rolls on. Loudoun with the takeaway. Now they want to spring it deep for Leggett. Somebody off target and rolls all the way to McIntosh. And you mentioned that Pittsburgh game. Riverhounds had lost just one of their first 6 home matches. They were 5-1-0 going into last week on their home turf.
Somebody was trying to be funny earlier. Whoever sent the graphic in switched Learman and Farou's positions. They put Learman as the goalkeeper.
There he is there. Having an excellent season for Loudoun.
Farou, of course, has been one of the standout players for Loudoun this season. Every top team needs a goalkeeper who can pull you out of trouble, and he's come up massive in so many moments this season with big saves in big moments, which has allowed them, with the strength of him in goal and Abakura's offensive output, it's allowed them to be very successful with their style of play, because they are very they're possession orientated. They like to play out from the back in areas where turnovers can often lead to goal scoring opportunities for the opponents, which was the case against Louisville, where they dominated possession, 75% of the possession, but every time they turned over the ball, Louisville were able to counter and end up winning that game 4-1. And Loudoun obviously finished that game with just 10 men, but they were punished for the possession that they had. Essentially, they were punished any time that they lost it. So very interesting the way Loudoun continue to play and evolve.
You know, you mentioned that 4-1 game against Lou City. Loudoun actually beat them in the Jägermeister Cup the end of May here at Segra Field, 2-1. We talk about the season Farou is having. He made a flurry of saves at the very end of that match.
Yep.
Ended up clinching the 3 points in Jägermeister Cup action for Loudoun. Mentioned their record so far against Lou City, against Charleston, the other top team in the East. But first, here's Bravo on the wing. And that deflects off of Keegan Tingy and out for a corner kick to Oakland.
Yeah, I think that was one of the question marks we had at the start of the season for Loudoun. They were keeping up with Louisville and keeping up with Charleston. And the question was, could they sustain it over the duration of the season? And they fall a little bit behind. And when you look at the depth of Louisville's bench, you look at the depth of Charleston's bench, I think that's what allows them to continue to be so strong week after week, month after month. Of course, Loudoun's bench doesn't look too weak tonight, missing Abakura of injury, but then you do have Mines on the bench, you do have Ryan on the bench, who are 2 strong players who have had impact. But when you're just looking at the 10-month season, maybe they're just lacking that level of depth to be a team that's able to compete for the #1 spot.
And Ryan Martin told us candidly, he's like, look, the biggest reason why Charleston and why Lou City have been able to keep up their success, not just this year, but in general, is because of the amount of depth they have compared to the other teams in the East. But Loudoun got off of their best start in club history through 10 games, and they've been kind of treading water, but figuring things out. They haven't had a win in their last 4 games. They've gotten results in the last 2. And they're still sitting nice and pretty in 3rd place in the East. And to that point about Charleston, as the yellow card is going to come out, it looks like, and Cam Riley is going to pick up the first booking of the match. But a 1-1 draw against Charleston for Loudoun earlier in the season.
Yeah, and I think one of the impressive things for Loudoun has been the way that they've played so far this season. It's not just been picking up results, but they've been picking up results being very offensively orientated, being very risk orientated, playing from the back, being very possession based. But as we spoke about, it can look pretty. If it doesn't pick up 3 points, it's going to look pretty ugly after a certain period of time. So they've got to find a way to sustain their style of play, but also to continue to win games. And that's the question mark over the long duration of the course of the season. Can they maintain their style of play while continuing to win games?
Tries to roll it inside the penalty area, picked off now by Velo. And for second in USL Championship in assists. Here's Santos with an ambitious try that ends up in the bleachers for a goal kick to Kendall McIntosh.
Will beings from another world come to Earth?
How long's a galactic year?
250 million years. Or could aliens live among us already? The Big Bang Theory.
Weeknights at 6 on DCW 50.
We talk a lot about Hugo Farou and the season he's having. Well, his counterpart, Kendall McIntosh, on the other side. It's for Oakland, it's an interesting dichotomy here because they've got the 5 clean sheets, but they've given up tied for the second most goals in USL Championship this season. And so you're really not sure what you're going to get out of this side. Benny Feilhaber seems to have kind of settled things down a bit, but they are coming off that 2-1 loss. They'd won their previous 3 matches prior to that. These 2 goals they gave up to Phoenix Rising. The first 2 they've allowed in open play in 4 USL Championship regular season matches. It really clamped down and done a nice job. Phoenix and their firepower. Charlie Dennis, the former Oakland Root, providing that game winner in the second half. How difficult, Chris, is this travel for Benny Feilhaber and this Oakland Root side? A tough loss at home last week. Now they got to fly cross country without one of their stalwarts on the back line and Kai Green. How difficult of a matchup and just circumstances is this for Oakland?
I think the ecosystem of soccer in the United States requires significant travel. So this all has to be factored in at the start of the season, which is probably why the teams that have the depth in their rosters manage to be successful, because there's going to be times when players are fatigued, either from training load or just travel load or just the duration of the seasons. And I think it's just one of the things that you have to factor in when building your squad, especially if you have a top squad and you have players that are going to be missioned for national team games, for example. You have to be prepared that when those players are gone, that you still have players who can fill in from your bench or may not have national teams who can fill those roster spots so you can continue to be strong. The more successful your team is, the more competitions they're going to be in. So you have Leagues Cup, you have US Open Cup, you're going to have far more games than an average team that's maybe not reaching so far in those rounds. So preparing to be a successful team, whether it's just in league play, in competition play, playoffs, you have to factor all these things in. And I think that's the whole role of everybody within the administration, to make sure that the whole group is set up for success, that they cannot get away with excuses like the travel, because it's not something that's coming out of the blue. It's something that they have to be prepared for well in advance of the start of the season and make sure that they're prepared to deal with it and to continue to be successful.
Well, they certainly know that every match is a big one, especially with how tight the Western Conference is. Just 3 points separate last place from that final playoff spot. And every single point, any single result you can get, as Gomez takes down Leggett, and he will get carded. So you hope that if you're Oakland, you don't look back at last week against Phoenix and think that's one that you really regret.
Yeah. And I think you also start to see a separation in some of the organizations that really put their money where their mouth is and say, all right, we want to win, we want success, and they put the resources behind it to prepare themselves for that. And maybe some of the organizations that have a little bit less resources, but they still find a way to compete.
Bidwa goes down, recovers, and the whistle doesn't come from Gerald Flores. Bidwa, who scored last week, thought that should have been a whistle and a penalty opportunity for him. His arm still extended, wants an explanation, but a quick restart for Loudoun. Velo has the deflected, and Camden Riley gets it started for Donor, who has been a revelation since leaving Detroit City and joining Oakland Roots, and he turned on the Jets there. Unfortunately for him, he will get called for a foul, but he was racing 2 Loudoun United players and nearly won that race.
Yeah, I would have been surprised if he won. There was 3 Loudoun players ahead of him, but the penalty called in the box, I'm surprised this isn't a penalty. You see the trajectory of the ball doesn't change its line, which means that he only makes contact with Bidouin. And it's probably a fair claim for a penalty there. If the defender doesn't connect with the ball and the player goes down, then evidently it's not a very good tackle, and it probably should have been a penalty kick.
It rolls on, though, into the 15th minute.
You're always encouraged to stay on your feet, especially inside the 18-yard box, unless you're 120% that you're going to win that tackle, because once you go to ground, you're no longer in control, as we saw in that situation. And I think he's just fortunate that the referee didn't blow his whistle, but I think justifiably that probably should have been a penalty kick.
It's through everybody and all the way to McIntosh. Finally gets it away to Riley. He's starting for the 6th time this season, 7th game he's played across all competitions. Al-Masnawi for Armanakis. He used to play here with Loudoun United. In fact, he scored a goal the last time these two teams played in this stadium in 2023 as a member of Loudoun United. It's on his foot again. Working against Leggett. Leggett gives him a forearm, and it rolls over the end line for a goal kick.
Leggett gives him a forearm, and it shows him where the LA Fitness is close by.
Armanakis, the 26-year-old, scored his first goal of the season 2 weeks ago against Detroit in the 2-0 win. That was something you don't normally see in this game, where the expected goals for Oakland was .09. They had 1 shot on target and 2 shot attempts. Last week had just 1 shot on target on 9 attempts. The XG a lot higher last week. Benny Feilhaber telling us dangerous collision there, and they are going to get Gerald Flores to come over on this one. And the yellow comes out for Hakeem Karamoko.
I'm not sure I agree with a yellow card for this one. I think the uncertainty or the hesitation is definitely between McIntosh here. See, he's tracking back here, and there's a lack of communication, there's uncertainty, and Karamoko just tries to go for the ball here. He doesn't really do anything wrong.
I wonder, and you might be able to speak to this better, obviously, but Riley getting the start tonight for Kai Green. Riley has played sparingly because of injury this season. McIntosh, of course, has been in there every regular season game. And so you wonder if just the lack of communication, the lack of time of those two playing together contributed to that.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the consistencies that you see. Coaches very rarely like to change the defensive line, because the notion of being successful requires a lot of chemistry, a lot of cohesion and understanding, and moving in sequence with each other and understanding. And obviously when you lose players or you switch players, you're going to have a moment of instability until the new group gets familiar with each other. So that could just be a byproduct of that, but probably should have been a little bit more assertive in his communication in McIntosh and just come through and cleared it and left no hesitation there for Riley. But both of them hesitated a little bit, and Karamoko didn't do anything wrong. He saw the opportunity to take advantage of their hesitation, and it's probably a little late in the tackle, but I don't think there's any malicious for a yellow card.
Tingy for Leggett. Gagi did a nice job stepping in front of that. Given away, Santos, too tall for Valo. Al-Masnawi recovers. Playing on this wet and soggy turf surface. Segra Field, it rained for quite a bit. Stopped shortly before kick, allowed the teams to warm up. But it is wet. Riley for Donor.
We saw a little glimpse of the threat that Donor can bring to this team, and it's going to be a byproduct of being patient defensively and drawing Louisville drawing Loudoun higher so that they can expose space behind for Donor to get into. You can see he has an electric pace. He probably has an extra gear than everybody else on the field, but you have to create that space for him to be able to attack. When Loudoun are deep, the space isn't there for him to get behind. When they're able to bring them up a little bit higher, then they can exploit that space behind on the right-hand side.
Detroit City's loss has certainly been Oakland Roots' gain, and you pair up the injection of energy from the coaching change in Benny Feilhaber and the addition of Maury Donor. It just feels like there's an extra pep in the step in general of this Oakland Roots side.
Yeah, sometimes it can be sometimes the same head coach, you bring in new faces and it just freshens everything up and brings in fresh energy. But I think the combination of the both, new ideas, fresh players, fresh energy, fresh concepts, new training sessions, obviously just revitalizes everybody within the organization a little bit, just to push on a little bit in the second half of the season.
How about that job by Camden Riley in a 1v1 matchup there with Bidwa. Now duel, and now it's Bravo. Gibson, the longtime veteran. Al-Masnawi wide for Donor.
You can see how the heat is having despite being cloudy and it raining earlier, the heat is probably a little bit more humid than it would have been, but the heat's obviously having an impact. You see players going to close down and they just don't have that same speed and energy that they have normally to go and get close and tight quickly and force players to play backward. It's kind of a labored approach to pressuring and closing down rather than an intense, intimidating approach.
Hackshaw floated that in, and Faroux off his line came out to grab it very calmly. And he's wearing the captain's armband tonight. You just know that with every performance that he has in goal, all that extra experience, the 28-year-old starts to gain more and more confidence. Well, he's been aggressive stepping up tonight for Oakland. Quite noticeable in the first 21 minutes. Al-Masnawi gets through a couple. Now Donor. Al-Masnawi again. From behind, he's closed down on, given away. Hackshaw steps into it, and he scores from long range. Hackshaw took advantage of the giveaway and powered it past Faroux, and it's Oakland Roots ahead 1-0. First of the season for Hackshaw.
The Trinidadian is definitely not known for his goal-scoring capabilities, but when you're given a gift like this, what more can you do? You have to. You've got no choice but to finish this. They do well to do the interception here, but this is an absolute terrible giveaway. In the middle of the field, Hackshaw strikes it first time and probably catches Faroux, completely unexpecting it, and that's how it manages to skid underneath him into the back of the net. We're just giving Faroux a lot of praise for the season he's had and the number of saves he made, but this is probably one that he should have saved that goes straight under his body. But the giveaway in the middle of the park is absolutely criminal. And fair play to Hackshaw for having the confidence to read it and strike it first time and catch everybody unaware. And Oakland find themselves in the lead because of one poor decision. It was some good defending initially to win the ball back inside the 18-yard box. I'm not sure where or who the next pass was designed to go to, but it was an awful giveaway, and Hackshaw punishes relentlessly.
The first shot of the game for either side ends up finding the back of the net. And now Loudoun playing from behind once again. They have found themselves in this situation all too often in 2025. Again, they lead the league with 14 points from losing positions this season, including the one last week against Pittsburgh. Just to put that into perspective, they had 4 points from losing position in 2024. Now they're playing from behind once again. No Abdelatif Albacora tonight. Missing his second consecutive game. Where will the offense come from for Loudoun United?
Now it's going to be similar to last week against Pittsburgh. It's going to be a test of character for Loudoun. It's a goal that was given away needlessly. You say that the turning over the ball in that area of the field was poor decision making, to say the least. But now they've got to find a way to come back. They've got to be strong. They've got to be resilient. They have to find a way to do it without two of their best attackers on the field right now, with Ryan on the bench and Abakura not in the roster. So it's a huge test and a huge moment for Loudoun right now.
The race is on for it. Doggy wins it and puts it over the touchline for a throw. Now, while Loudoun's used to being in a trailing position, Oakland, finds themselves in the same position they were in last week against Phoenix, up 1-0 in the first half. Let's see how they respond from last week, if they're able to protect this lead.
And this is the question mark that's kind of been hanging over the head of Loudoun. They're up against Oakland, who are 11th in their conference. So whilst Loudoun did start very fast, we're competing with Louisville, we're competing with Charleston. If they still have that capability to be one of the teams who can compete for a #1 spot, they'll find a way to win this game, irrespective of they're performing well or with or without their best players. And that's going to be the question mark. When Louisville don't play well, they still find a way somehow to win, or to at least to leave with a point. The other teams struggle to win when they're not performing well or when they're missing their best players. And obviously, being able to pick up points when you're not playing well is one of the traits of the teams that have the ability to compete for championships. So this is going to be the test for Loudoun to see if they're still able to do that. Obviously, right now, they're winless in 4 games, and they want to snap that winless streak sooner rather than later, especially at home, where they've been a little bit stronger than they've been on the road. So still a lot of time left in this game and a lot to play for.
Collision there. Play rolls on. It's Bidwa for Nyman. Now Santos, and he couldn't connect.
And as you mentioned, 25 minutes into the game, it was the first shot on target for either team. 25 minutes in, Loudoun haven't created any goal-scoring opportunities. Oakland were given a goal-scoring opportunity, and Hackshaw hit it early and caught Farouk unaware and were able to capitalize on it. But it's not been a fantastic attacking display from either team right now in this game. But with Oakland being the away team, you envision now maybe they take a little less risks. They're a little bit more patient in how they throw bodies forward and make it a lot more difficult now for Loudoun to break them down.
Oakland on the move again. Gomez for Bravo. Bravo lays it across. Fanned on the clearance attempt. Still alive. Gibson stepped into it. The shot was blocked. Now Armanakis.
Almost another gift there at the edge of the box.
Almasnawi. Gomez. Wilson. He's all alone. Peter Wilson connects. And Oakland has stunned this Loudoun crowd. It's 2-0 to the Roots. Last week, Oakland had plenty of chances in the first half to extend their 1-0 lead. Peter Wilson specifically, they were unable to, and it gets redemption here today to extend Oakland's lead.
This is a fantastic pass, but look at the positioning. The centre-backs, you have to wonder what they're doing in this situation. He's all alone. Nobody's anywhere close to him. It's a fantastic first touch from Wilson to get the ball out his feet, and then no mistake with the second touch. Just side passes it, pass through into the back of the net, but defending is very, very poor there from Loudoun. There's one striker there, the number 9, Wilson. Nobody's paying attention to him. Hackshaw, Margulis, V, Riley, all caught sleeping in that moment, and he's all alone, one striker in the center of the field to take the opportunity on his own.
Just 5 minutes after Hackshaw gave Oakland the lead, Peter Wilson makes it 2-0 to the Roots.
100% conversion rate. We went from having 0 shots to 2 shots on target, and both of those shots end up being goals.
And for Wilson, it's his first goal in 6 games. He scored in 3 of the 4 matches across all competitions in the final 3 weeks of the month of May, and have been quiet since then. Not for lack of chances, though, as we saw last week. That's got to feel good for him. They always say for strikers,
have the wheels fallen off since their fast, explosive start to the season. The way they were playing, the results they were getting, the respect that was being given to them. I think this is starting to be I wouldn't say falling back into place of where they've historically been, but I'd definitely say they have to find a way to continue to grow and get stronger in the second half of the season rather than maybe falling backwards a little bit.
They almost feel a bit shell-shocked by what Oakland has done to them in the first 30 minutes tonight.
And as we mentioned, for comparison, Oakland is sitting 11th in their conference. Yes, they have 1 or 2 new players, they have a new head coach, but it's still a team that struggled this season.
Donor off the side of the goal. And it's out for a goal kick. But Oakland right now, the last 10 minutes, all over Loudoun United.
Yeah, goals change games. And again, we see Wilson here all alone, or we see Donor here driving from the right-hand side. Probably trying to squeeze the ball in from a very acute angle there. Probably been better off squaring it across to Wilson in the middle of the goal.
I mean, this is the put it simply for you, Chris. First 13 games, they're a +11 in goal differential. The last 7, you see it right there.
Yeah, and you could argue that the offense has dwindled a little bit, but defensively they've got a lot weaker also. And we've questioned how they build out from the back and how committed they are to playing out from the back, and sometimes they turn over possession. And Danny Cruz said that's the best moment to score is when Loudoun have possession of the ball, is when they're most vulnerable defensively. Maybe there's something there, but obviously they have their style of play, they have their game model, and they want to continue with that to be successful. And it's encouraging to watch. It's great to watch, but it has to be successful in terms of points accumulation over the long haul of the season, or you obviously find people don't believe in it as much going forward. So it's going to be interesting to see how they continue to evolve.
Oakland pushing for more with Gomez. Bravo. Space in the middle for Al-Masnawi. Now Gibson. United had 2 clean sheets the first 5 matches of the season, just 2 over the last 11 matches.
So you could visibly see here what I was discussing about the speed of play. You can see that Oakland have the ball deep in Loudoun's defensive third, and still there's players not able to press and close down quickly to put pressure on the ball. It's kind of a half-hearted run there to go and close players down and put them under pressure, and the heat has a big impact on that. And Oakland are now starting to move the ball a little bit quicker in 1 or 2 touches, which requires higher energy and more intensity to go and close the ball down, which is allowing them to now get more dominance over Loudoun.
Gave it away a moment ago, and they were fortunate to be able to recover. Now, a whistle and a stoppage for an injury. A Loudoun player, looks like Leggett, who sat down on the pitch with his 5th. Snapped a 6-game goalless drought for Wilson. And for Loudoun and their fans here, looking on with concern for Leggett, but also disappointment given the results of this match to this point.
Yeah, and right now they sit in the playoff position 3rd in the table with 27 points.
It would take some kind of collapse.
Well, you wouldn't expect them to go out, but obviously being in the top 4 allows them to host a home playoff game. From the 8th position to the 3rd position is just a 9-point gap. So a slope of 3 games. Well, right now they're approaching a 5-game winless streak. They could easily, if they don't pick themselves up quickly, find themselves drop out of the top 4, and then you're now scrapping to get back in there to have that home playoff. And then you could, depending on how quickly you can regain that form, now you're scrapping to make the playoffs. So I wouldn't necessarily sit in a comfort zone given how fast their start to the season was. I would say they need to start turning things around quickly, regaining some form and momentum into that second half of the season, not just to secure their position in the playoffs and potentially a home berth, but to make sure that they're going into that part of the season with confidence, with good results, with good momentum and a good mentality in the group. Because I don't think going into the postseason phase on a losing slope can lead you to postseason success. So I think they're going to want to turn this around if they can turn it around fairly quickly. But I don't think it's just as simple as the return of Abu Kura that turns this around. I think there's some deeper roots that they need to get involved in to really go on again and push Louisville and Charleston.
Those 2 clubs have created some separation atop the Eastern Conference. Loudoun done playing Lou City in the regular season. They've got 1 left against Charleston.
And I think for sure, Danny Cruz finds a way to win that game. So he looks at the opponent and he strategizes how they're going to win that game. When it was Loudoun, we're very comfortable with them having possession of the ball. Louisville had 25% possession, which most coaches would be pretty annoyed if your team just had 25% possession. But he said that was the game plan for that game. He knew what was going to be in front of them. He knew what they were going to need to do. He knew maybe they needed to play ugly for that one game, which they did. But at the end of the day, if you just see the result 4-1, you probably have a picture of who was the most dominant team on the night or what statistics really were the most important. I think that's one of the keys to success as the USL Championship has evolved. You can't just be a team that plays how you play anymore. You have to be a team that analyzes your opponents, you understand the strengths and weaknesses of your opponents, and you have to be able to emphasize your own style of play also. And I think that's what the top teams have been able to do exceptionally well, along with the depth and maybe a little bit more investment in their roster than some of the other groups.
To your point about the depth, and one of the things that Ryan Martin told us, and it wasn't the only reason why they've struggled a bit defensively of late, but the loss of Jake Erlandson has really, I wouldn't say cause some friction on that back line, but it's certainly a guy that they miss. It's unclear on his timeline for return. He's going to get a second opinion on a lower body injury.
Yep.
But it's not looking great for Erlandson, and that's a big loss for them.
And look, you can probably tell by my accent, I'm English. So promotion and relegation is the norm for me, and I think this is where the evolution of USL Championship is coming next. If you don't invest in the depth of your rosters and you're languishing in the lower ends of the table, you have two choices. You have to go and sign better players very quickly, which is going to be tough because where are you going to get them from in mid-season when everybody's playing at the same time? Or you have to have a strong roster from the beginning of the season, because now there's not really any repercussions for lingering at the bottom of the table. You know you're still going to be in the league next year. But the repercussions of potentially getting relegated, well, you're going to lose fans because you're going to go down the division. You're going to lose players because your top players want to compete in the top division, and you want your status of your organization to maintain. So now it really pushes owners into a new challenge of how much and how they invest into their teams, into their rosters, into their staff holistically. So I think you're going to see so much growth in the game once we get to that phase where we actually have promotion and relegation, and there's a lot at stake from top to bottom in every division.
It's a couple of years away. For now, Loudoun trying to dig themselves out of this 2-0 deficit. Tingy now. Loudoun have been a bit shaky as of late. Shaky start here at home against Oakland. And one of the things that Ryan Martin told us this week is he wanted to see his side eliminate the silly mistakes, get the rest defense a bit better, and I would say through the first 36 minutes, 0 for 2.
And you just said it, exactly as the moment you're making that point, a silly mistake playing out from the back, under nose pressure, passing, needless. It's a turnover in their defensive third, which obviously on this occasion wasn't punished, but that's how the first game, that's how the first goal came about. And I've mentioned this to Ryan Martin a number of times, that sometimes they play out from the back and the next action is being a goal kick or a corner kick or a throw-in for the opponents. You know, where do they balance their style of play and being efficient? Because if the other team's pressing high, then obviously the space is behind. And if they drop off, then the space is in front to play. But they generally approach playing out from the back with the same in every moment. And it's not always left to success many times so far this year. So it's kind of balancing in the players' decision-making on their own, but also what they're encouraged to do from a style of play or a game model perspective.
So just one shot attempt in this first half for Loudoun, and it wasn't on goal. This is just a nightmare of a start for Loudoun, which has been a really good team at home this season. 5 wins in their 8 home matches leading into tonight. Results in 7 of those 8 matches. In USL Championship regular season play. And how about this? Early substitutions for Ryan Martin and Loudoun. So Karamoko and Leggett come out in the 38th minute here in the first half. Zach Ryan and Drew Skundrich will come on. Ryan, the all-time leading goal scorer in club history, did not play last week, serving a red card suspension. 6 goal contributions this season. Wonder how much Leggett's exit from this game has to do with the knock that he took a little earlier, but he seemed to be frustrated just now going to sit down on the bench.
Yeah, I think it's a bit of both. There's only 7 minutes to half-time, so I think it's Ryan Martin making a statement that this isn't good enough. It's not getting any better, so why wait to make changes? They could be 3-0 down at half-time. I think if they can make changes now and they're going to have a positive impact, especially just getting them half-time without conceding another goal, then you can take that as a small win, and they've got to rebuild themselves to go out and compete in this second half. But definitely to respond, and I would say compete, because the home fans that turned out today in the rain, they haven't seen a competition. You haven't seen players getting stuck in, making tackles, moving the ball with intensity. All the things that you demand at home haven't happened.
And here's Peter Wilson after the turnover. Wilson has 1, was looking for 2, and the shot was blocked.
It just didn't seem like Wilson didn't want to use his left foot. All the space was there on the left side for him to cut across and take the shot, but he kept driving inside onto his right foot where the defenders were coming in. Evidently,
just giving away
space.
Giving away too easily again. Gomez trying to slide it through, could not. Now Loudoun United away. Skundrich up ahead, Tingy.
And there's been 2 giveaways there, strong tackle. 2 giveaways by Loudoun in the past 5 minutes that give great opportunities to Oakland, and I think that's the difference. Yes, Oakland are dominating these games, but those 2 chances they've had in the past 5 minutes against one of the top teams, they punish you with those opportunities that they had. You're not going to get the ball back and be playing out from the back. You're going to be picking out the back of your net.
Bidwa slow to get up, holding that left leg. The bottom of your screen. Play back towards Farouk. 5 minutes to go in this half. Can Loudoun close out the half strong? Maybe pull one back to ride some momentum into halftime. Goals in the 22nd and 27th minute by Oakland. Hackshaw and Wilson just sucked the life out of this stadium. And they're sitting pretty here with this 2-0 road lead. Santos. Now Nyman. This is Bidwa on the turn. First shot on goal is held by Kendall McIntosh.
Not a bad effort there from Bidwa. Just tried to create something out of nothing. It's some good possession here from Loudoun into the attacking third. And his first touch probably doesn't set him up great, but he finds a way to swivel and get a shot with his left foot. But straight down McIntosh's throat, deals with it fairly easily.
Skundrich finds room in the middle to Nyman. That's just too much for Ryan to handle. And it rolls all the way out for a goal kick.
Meet Bob. Meet Abishola. Life isn't always easy when cultures collide.
Hey, Auntie.
But they can always count that Abishola loves Bob, and Bob hearts Abishola.
Weekdays at 7 on DCW 50.
Final moment to this first half. Oakland Roots with a commanding 2-0 lead. They won 3 in a row before their 2-1 loss last week at home to Phoenix. Playing much better under Benny Feilhaber. Foul on Hackshaw, and Benny Feilhaber does not like that. Bidwa is taking a bit of a beating.
Yeah, you have to be smart around Hackshaw. He's a big guy, strong in a tackle. You have to be aware of your surroundings. It's probably an area where you need to pass and move very quickly and not allow yourself to feel that extra contact, because he will leave it on you if you give him half a chance.
Learman. Gomez all over Tingy.
Looking back, that may have been what happened to Leggett. I remember Leggett was on the receiving end of a strong tackle from Hackshaw earlier in the first half, and obviously he came out the game early.
Tingy gets a yellow for this.
Tingy actually had good possession. The ball just loses it here a little bit and lunges in to try and win it back. That foot is a little bit higher, to say the least.
Tingy's had a strong season. 24-year-old. Couple of goals this season. Gibson. He's the one down. And McIntosh is pleading his case with Gerald Flores, wanting more than just the yellow.
Yeah, it's just a moment where the players just need to stay focused on the game. They don't want to be getting too distracted and getting into back and forth with the referee. They're leading the game 2-0. There's a couple minutes left towards halftime. Just stay focused and stay tight, compact and organized, and then you can do without halftime.
Gibson looks to be all right. Stay in the game. And the captain's armband tonight. The 34-year-old, his first season with Oakland, more than 200 matches in USL Championship. Probably going to have a healthy amount of added time here in the first half. A few injury stoppages. Gagi. Hackshaw scored the first goal, an unlikely source. Abdelatif Abakura tonight tied for the league lead in goals for Loudoun United. He's tied with Cal Jennings of Charleston. He's in action right now. Only 6 minutes of added time in this first half.
6 minutes of stoppage time added to the half. 6 minutes.
Stoppage time brought to you by Novec. Novec's energy-saving tips are a real game changer.
Great play from Donor to keep that ball in play. Looked like it was going way past the touchline, but he manages to keep it in play and uses his body to protect it and win a free kick. Just killing some seconds off the clock as they approach the final 5 minutes of additional time.
What do you think the message inside that locker room for Loudoun United from Ryan Martin's going to be?
They've got to become more offensive. We just saw him on the screen. That's probably the only time we've mentioned him so far in this game, and he's a player who has the ability to pick up the ball and drive into space and create things for his team, but he's not done that at all so far in this game. The intensity and pressing to close and win the ball back has been poor also, and their possession playing out from the back has led to some of the best goal-scoring opportunities for Oakland so far in this game. So I think it's not been a great first half from Loudoun. I think they can get better in the second half, but they've got to get back to doing what they were doing well in the earlier of the season. That was fighting, competing, being organised and compact, and their opportunities came off the back of that. I feel like they've got a little bit comfortable and lax and maybe started to possess the ball without a purpose, just passing for the sake of it, and that's played into the opponent's hands.
As good as Loudoun has been this season, they have had a couple of stinkers here and there. Ryan Martin talked to us about a Hartford match, a 3-0 loss against Hartford. He feels outside of that, they've been relatively good in every game this year. This one feels a lot like 3-0 defeat to Hartford, at least through one half so far.
I think there's one positive that you can definitely take from Loudoun is the year-on-year growth. I think if you look at last year compared to what they've accomplished so far this year, it's definitely a significant improvement, but they've got to go a stage beyond that now. Or they'll end up, or not end up, but there's going to be a high possibility, as we spoke about pre-show, that they'll lose some of their top players to some of the bigger teams in the league who continue to grow and invest and build out the eco-structure. I don't think you just want to be a feeder team to the bigger teams in the league. At some point, you want to maintain your status, you want to grow, and you want to compete at that same level, and I think that's got to be the evolution.
Just had so much trouble stringing passes together, building forward. Maybe a missed handball there. Unable to take back possession.
Yeah, and there you see an example of the possession without purpose. There's a pass from the goalkeeper into the 6 who plays backwards, then it's a long ball to Velo for Velo to compete in the air against Hackshaw in a battle that he's not going to win. So there has to be some sense to the possession or the passes that they're making. If you're going to play the ball forward to Velo, it's probably not going to be around his neck or in the air for him to play a 50-50 aerial challenge against Hackshaw.
Hackshaw with the foul. Now he's going to get a talking to from Gerald Flores. A physical match from Hackshaw. Hasn't been booked yet, but I'd imagine the next time he commits a foul, he's going to find himself.
That's his game. He's a physical presence at the back. He knows how to intercept. He knows how to leave his body. He knows how to time and intercept passes. He's a very, very good defender, Hackshaw. For Velo, obviously he's one of the league's leading players in assists. So you need to be able to find him high up the field in pockets where he can create for his teammates. If he's deep defending or he's isolated in wide areas, it's going to be very hard for him to create those goal-scoring opportunities for his teammates.
Velo stands over this. Long free kick opportunity for Loudoun and stoppage time of the first half. Oakland with 2 goals in 5 minutes. As Velo delivers into a crowd of bodies, headed away by Oakland. Skundrich chases it down. It's Aua for Velo again. He puts it into the area. Riley heads it away. Forward towards goal one more time. Hackshaw gets a piece of it. Tingy battling there with Armanakis.
Of course, the combination of Velo and Abukura has been one of the foundations of success for Loudoun so far this year. Velo being one of the league's leading assists, and Abukura, of course, being tied for leading goal scorer. So the combination between the two has been one of the foundations that's allowed them to be successful. So Velo, I wouldn't even say he's had great service into dangerous areas in this game so far, but he's obviously been the player who looks for Abukura most frequently to create those goal scoring opportunities. And he's having, when he does have the ball, now you're seeing who does he give that service to, or who's he looking for making runs with that same chemistry and cohesion that they've had so far this season.
Peter Wilson on it for Oakland. Now Almas Nowian. We talk about the absence of Abukura, and obviously you just missed the finishing ability that he has and his production in general. But when things aren't going well and Loudoun isn't able to build forward, Abukura has the ability to make something out of nothing. And they don't have that element without him.
Yeah, and I think it's not similar to Markanek, but Markanek did it very well. He was a top goal scorer from a winger. Abukura has the ability to drive into wide areas and take players on, and also attract pressure to create space for his teammates. And I think when we don't see a winger right now in this game for Loudoun who has that same capability of holding the ball in wide areas that allows teammates to get space centrally.
Santos trying to go over the top. Gagi got there. Santos. The whistle blows for Learman. Tingy again, across. Donor got a head on it, and there is the whistle for halftime here at Segra Field. A memorable first half for Oakland Roots, not so much for Loudoun United. It's 2-0 to the Roots at the half.
Yeah, I think Benny Fair Harbour would be very happy with his team's first half. As you spoke about, how does the travel factor into their performance tonight? Well, it's actually giving them the advantage because they look like the team that's fresher and healthier and more intense than Loudoun, who are the whole team right now.
2 goals in a span of 5 minutes in the first half for Oakland Roots. Hackshaw got the first one, his first of the season. Wilson the second, and it's Oakland in control at the half.
Will beings from another world come to Earth?
Turn left at Alpha Centauri. You can't miss it.
Watch for signs of hyperintelligence.
How long is a galactic year?
250 million years.
A love for rocketry.
I remember them going up higher.
And the capability to destroy humanity. Or could aliens live among us already? You decide on the Big Bang Theory.
Weeknights at 6 on DCW 50.
This is business today. Fast, unpredictable, always changing. Shifting trends and technologies are pushing aside old rules. The unexpected is the new normal. At Segra, we'll help you navigate a complex future with state-of-the-art voice, internet, and data protection solutions. We know you have dreams, and we see your potential. Segra, freedom to grow.
DC News Now is on Roku. Early morning, ready, set, Roku. Afternoon, Roke Us. Evening or night, whenever you want to stretch your dollar. Roke your savings. Newscasts, features, weather, sports, living local DMV, and custom content just for you on Roku. Search DC News Now today and let's Roku and roll.
You have the power to save. Take charge of your energy bill with these tips from Novec. Adjust your ceiling fans to rotate counterclockwise for warmer weather. Novec also recommends installing a programmable thermostat to avoid cooling your home when you're away. Set your water heater to 120 degrees. Novec is helping members save energy, which means saving money. Harness your savings power. Find more tips and tools at novec.com/save.
It's here! The all-new Michelle Radley Chevrolet in Leesburg. That's right, Michelle Radley has added Chevrolet in Leesburg to their automotive family. That means the same name you've trusted for years now has 2 locations to serve the entire area. More selections, more service, and more savings. Michelle Radley Chevrolet in Leesburg and online at michelleradleychevrolet.com.
Visit us today at Michelle Radley Chevrolet, where we deliver memorable experiences.
That's Washington Spirit 2024 first-round pick out of Clemson, McKenna Morris, here today at pregame. Halftime brought to you by Van Meter. It's 2-0 Oakland at the half over Loudoun. Josh Chappelle, Chris Nurse with you. Here's what's upcoming for Loudoun. Doesn't really get any easier. 3 tough road games coming up at North Carolina, at Tulsa. And although Rhode Island struggled this season, it's a tough atmosphere to go play at.
Yeah, as you're looking at them now, they're winless in 5, and you look at the next 5 fixtures, and not one of them looks like straightforward or easy whatsoever. All teams that are in and around the playoff positions or fighting are very, very competitive teams. So it's going to be a tough stretch for Loudoun. It's going to be interesting to see they sit coming the end of August.
After this, against Orange County and Colorado Springs. 2 in a row with a really tough one at Sacramento.
Yeah, quite the contrast to Loudoun. Loudoun, who's looked like their wheels are falling off a little bit from the start there to the season. Oakland Roots, on the other hand, it looked like they seem to be getting a little bit stronger as the season starts to progress. A little more cohesive, better understanding, more clinical in the attacking third, as we've seen in this first half against Loudoun, who by no means is an easy place to come away and pick up a result and be 2-0 in the lead at half-time. Whether they're able to sustain that lead at the end of the game is going to be for us to see, but right now, in cruise control.
Hackshaw and Wilson, the goals for Oakland, 2-0 at the half.
Prinks Tires in the USL help soccer journeys everywhere to drive harder. From city playgrounds to suburban sidelines, from early mornings to late nights, from fun with friends to winner takes all. From the biggest fan to the biggest heart. And at every turn, Prinks Tires will be there for the long haul.
Who wants that smoke? You want that smoke? Look, I ain't playing, I'm saying this ain't a joke. There ain't no bluffing, I'm calling you out for show. It's either all in or nothing, I go for broke. Who wants that smoke?
Wait, come back! Wait, come back, I need more help.
Take a load off Annie. Take a load for free.
Today we went to the beach, and it was totally worth it. Stay 3 nights this summer at Best Western and get $50 off a future stay.
Whoa, termites can eat a pound of wood a day. 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 What's wrong, Daddy? Daddy? You okay?
Keep termites out of your home and your head with our premium guarantee that covers up to $250,000 in new termite damage. Before panic shows up, Terminix it.
3 up top and not 2. Make it 2-1 Hartford.
Hands home at the back post. The Kings of Chaos strike again.
DC News Now, bigger and only getting better.
Join us as we welcome Susan Tran to the DC News Now team.
Decades of journalism experience, a steadfast commitment to community, and an energy we can't wait for.
Susan Tran joins DC News Now, super serving the DMV with Susan Tran at the anchor desk.
Good evening, and thank you so much for joining us on DC News Now.
This week on USL All Access, the new Tampa Bay Rowdies head coach Tom Casciato and the Hartford Athletic head coach Brendan Burke joins us ahead of their big matchup here in Rhode Island.
El Clamico, one of the crown jewels of the USL Championship, Centerville Bank Stadium, takes center stage on CBS. They're healthy. Are the results going to follow? Both coaches break down why they think success is in the future.
Halftime is brought to you by Van Meter, and here at Segra Field, It's Oakland Roots 2 and Loudoun United 0. Josh Appel, Chris Nurse with you as we take a look at our USL Championship news and notes. Congratulations to Neil Collins, longtime coach in this league, now with Sacramento Republic. He earned his 100th USL Championship win on Saturday. Aiden Quinn of Indy 11, his 56th career assist against Rhode Island, third all-time in league history. And Enzo Martinez, goal number 128, goal contribution number 128 in his career, just 4 behind the league record. Well, we highlighted it in the open, Chris. Here's how the Eastern Conference shakes out. These are the standings going into tonight. Loudoun United a point ahead of North Carolina FC, as we showed you earlier, too. They'll match up here coming up, starting that second tier in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah, and we're looking at Miami FC have got a little bit better. I'll be surprised if we don't see them in the playoff positions come the end of the season. Rhode Island, obviously, went to the championship final last year. Tampa Bay Rowdies, come on. It'll be criminal if we get to the playoffs and Tampa Bay Rowdies are still where they are right now. So looking at where things stand right now, I think the end of the season table looks completely different than where things sit right now. But it's going to be interesting to see which teams currently across that line end up falling out of that line.
You could say the same about the Western Conference if you thought it was jumbled in the East. How about the West? 15 points for Colorado Springs, the defending champs. They're in 12th place in the Western Conference, dead last, but just 3 points out of a playoff spot. Las Vegas Lights, Lexington, Orange County, Oakland, those 5 clubs separated by just 5. And then from 1st to 7th, just 6 points separates FC Tulsa from Monterey Bay.
Yeah, and hate to bring it up again, but promotion relegation. Just look at the storylines. You would have the reigning champs and now sitting last in their conference, potentially on the fringes of getting relegation. What a story or excitement or emotions could that bring for fans and organisations when we get to that point? But as we said, it's a season where there's some outliers that are not necessarily performing as they have historically.
National TV game today, Rhode Island and Hartford. What a scene up there in Rhode Island. They played to a 0-0 draw. 1-0 Charleston leads Miami FC in the first half. And these 2 games right here, Legion and Colorado Springs, the aforementioned, along with Lou City and FC Tulsa, which is a phenomenal matchup. Those 2 get underway in just a moment. And then a couple of late ones, Orange County and Las Vegas as well. Let's take a look at our goals and save of the week here in USL Championship.
Opportunity from distance, saved by Viniello. Upper corner look from Eric Cavill.
Here is Serrato, left footed, Caldo! What a wonderful goal from the Brazilian! The shape of the shot was immaculate. He gave the goalkeeper no chance.
DC News Now, the only station focusing on the entire DMV. Reporters in 5 locations throughout the region. A look at weather with a regional approach, so you always know what's ahead. And an unmatched commitment to local news. More community, more breaking news, and more weather coverage for everyone in the DMV. Join Chris Flanagan, Susan Tran, and Janessa Webb. Watch DC News Now tonight at 10 on DCW 50.
Come see what's trending on Karamo. He has deleted 1,938 texts in the last 30 days.
Unlock that phone for me. What's in there that you cannot see me?
See what's taking over everybody's feed.
You did try to gaslight her. You did try to mislead her. You did try to manipulate her. I don't even worry about that at all. This is a lot of chaos from the beginning.
A lot. All season on Karamo.
Weekdays at 3 on DCW 50.
At Luray Caverns, there's only one thing more timeless than the formations.
Grandma, check this out.
The memories. What will you discover? From down below to way up high, there's fun in every layer of Luray Caverns. What will you discover?
It's here! The all-new Michelle Radley Chevrolet in Leesburg. That's right, Michelle Radley has added Chevrolet in Leesburg to their automotive family. That means the same name you've trusted for years now has 2 locations to serve the entire area. More selections, more service, and more savings. Michelle Radley Chevrolet in Leesburg and online at michelleradleychevrolet.com.
Visit us today at Michelle Radley Chevrolet, where we deliver memorable experiences.
Welcome back to halftime, brought to you by Van Meter. 2-0 to Oakland Roots over Loudoun United at the half. Josh Appel, Chris Nurse, as we take a look at our first half highlights. Scoring started, Chris, in the 22nd minute. Sloppy play here from Loudoun. They wanted to clean up the silly mistakes that did not happen in the first half.
It was just a really bad turnover to nobody, and Hackshaw, the unsurprising goal scorer, catches anybody unaware, hits it first time, and it's straight under the body for Root. Probably bodies in front of him made it difficult to see, but an absolute gift for Oakland Roots.
Just 5 minutes later, Oakland would add to it. Peter Wilson, who had a couple of chances last week, couldn't convert. Goalless in his last 6 games, snaps the streak here.
Yeah, sloppy defending. You just look here, all alone in here, Wilson, all inside the 18-yard box, gets the ball out his feet, slots it into the corner, and again, Oakland Roots here celebrating, but poor defending, just nobody marking Wilson tight enough there to stop him from getting the shot off.
41st minute, Loudoun trying to build forward, trying to get something going. It was Bidwa, the first bid on goal, held easily by McIntosh.
Just tried to create something out of nothing here, Bidwa. Gets the first touch out his feet, tries to swivel on the half turn to get the shot off, but straight down McIntosh's front.
So here's how the first half stats ended up. Possession in favor of Loudoun United. Shots on target, 2-1 in favor of Oakland, but just 2 attempts total for Loudoun, 6 for Oakland Roots. It was a first half dominated by Oakland.
Yeah, as we spoke about, Oakland have been the better team, and since they've got the goals, the confidence, the momentum has definitely shifted in their favor. They've been moving the ball a little bit quicker. Loudoun just been a little bit lax or lethargic to go on pressure, win the ball back. They've not been great in possession of the ball, and as we've seen, they haven't created very much in front of goal either. So it's going to be interesting to see the response, the character that they come out with in the second half, because it has to be a significant upshift from the first half.
Game number 200 for Ryan Martin as head coach for Loudoun United has not gone the way that he would like to this point. I know you alluded to it a bit in the first half, Chris, but if you're Loudoun United, what adjustments, what differences do you want to see here in the second half as they try and stage a comeback?
They've got to get back to what they were doing earlier in the season. They were good at pressing from the front, winning the ball up high. They were able to build from the back in 2 or 3 touches and go forward rather than a lot of sideways and backwards passes and just not having a purpose in their possession. And they were clinical in the attacking third. They have to find Velo in areas where he's dangerous on the ball, where he can create goal and scoring opportunities for his teammates, and they have to prevent the needless turnovers.
Pass a little bit off target. Story of the first half for Loudoun. Looked like a good build-up initially and just kind of fizzled out. Again, no Abdelatif Abakura missing his 2nd consecutive game. Zach Ryan is back for Loudoun after serving a red card suspension. They were able to get the 2-2 draw at Pittsburgh last week despite those 2 being out. It'll take some kind of effort against an Oakland Roots side playing with a lot of confidence under their new head coach, Benny Feilhaber, to get this game level here in the second half. But Oakland was in this position last week at home against Phoenix. Had a 1-0 lead at the half and then conceded twice in the second half to lose 2-1. Turner has that go through Santos, and then Ryan gets a piece of that for a throw into Oakland. There's Maury Donor, who's made such a huge impact on this Roots side since coming over at the end of May.
Slow start to the second half for both of these teams. So no one able to get the ball down, put their foot on it and connect to a few passes. Both teams are just giving it away on a couple of occasions needlessly. Obviously, Loudoun be looking to get themselves an early goal in the second half to try and get themselves back into the game.
Careless mistake, given away. Donor turns it back. Gagi. Gibson lost it. Nyman was hounding him. Santos. Riley stepped up. Play rolls on. Oakland in possession. Armanakis. Used to play here for Loudoun. Scored against Oakland as a member of Loudoun United the last time Oakland Roots visited Segra Field back in 2023. The only meeting here in this stadium before tonight between these two sides, East versus West.
I would say Oakland had to be careful. There's still good opportunities for them to play forward and take risk. I would say so far in the second half, they're opting to play the safe pass, the cautious pass, rather than still look to get themselves a third goal. 2-0 is often one of the most dangerous scorelines that we see in soccer holistically, and I think there's opportunity for them to push on and get that third goal and have that safety cushion. But you're seeing players just not looking to take the risk and play that forward pass and passing sideways and backwards, which will play into the hands of Loudoun because it allowed them to get more pressure on the ball, get higher up the field into the attacking third. So it's going to be interesting to see if that's just how Oakland start the second half or if that's how they look to maintain things. But I think Oakland will get opportunities to get back in the game if they don't stay offensive-minded.
They got a whistle here for a foul on Zach Ryan. Gagi went down. Let's take another look.
Ryan just tries to use his body here to give himself the advantage. Nothing.
Yeah, I'm not sure what Zach Ryan did
there. It's harsh
there.
to say there's a foul. He just turns his body and just uses his backside there to nudge the defender a little bit. I think that's smart attacking play more so than a free kick.
It almost seemed like Gagi initiated that contact. It's wet and soggy out there tonight. That's kind of been the story of Loudoun's night. Bidwa looked like he might have had a chance to take it away, but poor touch, gave it right back to Oakland. Peter Wilson is whistled for a foul here by Gerald Flores. Maury Donor for Gibson. Had a strong night. Gomez. Velo watching Gibson. Now it's Bravo for Al Masnawi. He tried to clear it away. It hit off of Velo. It's able to be regained back by Oakland Roots. Bravo keeps it in. Trying to move it forward for Gomez. But Ahua got in the way of it. Make that Nyman. Now it's Skundrich.
They give Oakland a little bit smarter with the possession, able to shift the ball from one side to the other a little bit quicker. They're going to have success because they're doing a good job of bringing Loudoun into one side of the field. There's 5 defenders versus 3 attackers, which means that the space is on the opposite side if they're able to get the ball out and switch it, but they're still trying to play down that one side when they're in possession.
Try to work it into the middle. Oakland had that covered. Learman out of the near side and no chance.
So Loudoun, it's just got to be quicker and more efficient. Learman takes maybe 5, 6, 7 touches there and hits a diagonal ball out of play. You just got to get it and move it 1 and 2 touches. Find the midfielders in front of you. If they're not coming to Arsenal, you have to demand that they come and get it. The midfielders are there to create. They're the engine of the team. They're the mind of the team. They're the ones who you need to find in possession of the ball. And as we spoke about, Velo hasn't been delivered with great service so far in this game. The balls that he has been delivered to have been up and around his neck and around his head, where he's competing with Hackshaw for headers, rather than being fed the ball to his feet where he can make things happen and create.
Riley with a physical play on Zach Ryan, forces the giveaway. Wilson, Peter Wilson, trying to split 2, has it taken from him.
It was a good first touch there from Wilson, and he did well to get space and get the ball at his feet, but you feel like he maybe should have just took a shot rather than try and dribble in between 3 players.
Loudoun United just seems way too careless with the ball tonight.
Yeah, careless and casual and lethargic is what I would say. They lack the urgency, the intensity, and the quality that they've been playing with earlier in the season.
Manakis. Gomez ahead for Bravo with Tingy watching him. Velo comes over to help.
You can see that Just a little bit of a lack of intensity when it comes to winning the ball back. It's a little bit laboured in terms of just keeping shape, keeping possession. There's not really an intensity to go and win the ball back and recover it. And when you do recover it, to make something happen immediately.
Donor after the throw. Service comes in, headed down and just wide. Wilson wanted a corner. It will just be a goal kick. Now, 2 goals for Oakland tonight, but how about this stat for you, Chris? Touches in opposition box tonight.
Don't say it.
For Loudoun United, 2. 4 for Oakland Roots.
Sometimes statistics can be painful.
Yeah.
I think that's one of those nights today, but there's a correlation. The statistics aren't lying. It's not been a great performance from Loudoun tonight, and it's going to be very difficult to win a game if you only have 2 touches inside the box so far, 53 minutes into the game, and that's been the circumstance.
And this is a game where Oakland is without Kai Green, one of the stalwarts of their back line, and yet Loudoun have not figured out a way to penetrate. We knew coming in, Ryan Martin told us that Oakland very good at defending their own area in front of goal, and that has shown itself tonight. Al-Masnawi.
But they're there. Look on the counter-attack. Look how high Hackshaw is right now. If your defenders go up that high, the space is there to be exploited on the counter-attack. They just need the players and the cohesive actions to know that where the space is when they win possession of the ball, where they can hurt the opponents.
Maybe this is one of those moments where they can get something moving forward. Santos tried to lead Bidwa.
Yeah, you can see Awura out on his left-hand side, 1v1. I don't know if he wins the speed battle up against Donor, but they've not found him or switched the point of attack quick enough to get him isolated 1v1 to make things happen. So, as we spoke about, the ball's being won one side of the field, and they're staying that same side of the field rather than looking where they can get the ball out to space or get their best attacking players isolated 1v1 so they can do what they do best.
Ryan Martin told us that in the absence of guys like Abdelatif Abukora, that he still feels that the team's strength is in their collective. And they knew coming into this season that they'd have to play and win by committee. They expected Abdelatif Abukora to make a jump from last year, but not quite the jump that he's made. And that's just been an added bonus.
Yeah,
but they do have other quality in this group. It just hasn't shown itself tonight yet.
As we spoke about, when one player has 50% of your goals, you always have to have a cautious eye on knowing that there's going to be a moment in the season where you're not going to have that guy. And who or how are we going to create and score in that moment of time? Yes, you do need that one player who can get you 15, 20 goals a season, and Abukora has been that guy. But you also have to have that backup plan to know, okay, this is how we create, this is how we score, this is how we rely on in the moments when he may just not be having a good game or when he's absent. And I think the statistics today shine a glowing light on being very Abukora dependent. And of course, that's this season, because last season Abukora wasn't the same Abukora last season as he is this season. This season he's come back a whole rejuvenated version of himself, and rightfully he's attracting the attention and getting the plaudits that he's getting because he's been very exciting and very efficient this season. But it's a process. He's got better over time, and the team's obviously been the benefactor of his improvement, his individual improvement.
Both goals for Oakland came in the first half, 22nd minute from Hackshaw. He scored in the Open Cup this year, but this is the first one in league play. And Peter Wilson slammed one home, his first goal in 6 matches. Flag was up for offside. Loudoun can just pull one back and breathe some life into this crowd, breathe some life into their own team. It'll be massive for them. They were able to come from behind last week. They've done it all season long, but you know, it's not a trend you want to follow. Come from behind wins are nice, but certainly not a sustainable model of winning.
Yeah, especially when you're at home. The standard or the expectation is a little bit different when you're at home than when you're on the road. Although, yes, it'd be nice to maintain the same performance in both scenarios. That's often not the reality. At home, you're obviously expected to dominate the play. You're in your home fortress. You're in the facility where you train every day. This is your home stadium. So your fans want to see you taking an approach where this is where you have confidence. Nobody comes into your home and dominates possession, creates more chances than you, or plays with more aggression and intensity than you. And I think in all of those 4 aspects tonight, Oakland have definitely done that. They've created more chances. They've been more aggressive, more dominant. They've had probably more purposeful possession, which will be disappointing for the home crowd.
Just about an hour in, and Gibson runs over it. Armanakis delivers in towards goal. It was a good ball. But Loudoun did a good job with it. Hesitation on the clearance, but a whistle blows to put a halt to play and give a free kick to Loudoun United, and they get it started immediately. Story of the night right there.
There's a lack of chemistry between the group tonight for whatever reason.
And Ryan didn't see Velo making the run behind him.
Exactly that. So the possession didn't have purpose because the moment was there to penetrate and play forward, and then they end up playing sideways and backwards, which, as we spoke about, that's playing into the hands of Oakland. Oakland are happy with that right now.
Dennis Learman.
That's the difference in the offensive-minded players, the creative players, is that they have the mindset to know where their next forward pass is going before they receive the ball.
Velo off of McIntosh, and that's a mistake by McIntosh because it gives Loudoun United its first corner of the match, an IBEW Local 26 corner kick. IBEW Local 26, empower your future. That's a mistake there by McIntosh.
Yeah, that's a pretty straightforward save. If he probably stands next to the post, the ball goes out of play without him touching it, but probably just a lapse in concentration. He hasn't been called upon too many times in today's game. I think once or twice.
So here's Velo at the 1 hour mark. Comes in. Over Hackshaw, all the way down to Nyman, and he mishit it. Stayed in, though. Ball had some English on it. Never seen that kind of trajectory.
It'll be some assist should this end up being a goal from Nyman's missed hit, shot, cross, pass.
Santos trying to play it through. Almasnawi got in the way of it. Moves it forward for Donor, who turns on the Jets, trying to get around Turner. They collide. It's out for a throw-in to Loudoun United. And now Loudoun United will make a couple more substitutions. These subs brought to you by Segra. Ben Mines, the hero from last week who scored in the stoppage time, will come on for Bitois. And Santos exits as well.
Number 15, Riley Bitois, and number 17, Pedro Santos.
Robbie Dambrot.
Now entering the match, number 22, Robbie Dambrot.
So Dambrot in, Mines in, hoping to provide a spark. Third and fourth substitutions used by Ryan Martin tonight. Trying to make up for the absence of Adelatif Abakura. Skundrich couldn't handle it.
Yeah, Ryan Martin just rolling the dice one more time in the last 30 minutes of this game.
Awua tees it up. Let's see, did I take a deflection or just go straight out? It went straight out for a goal kick. Oakland had won 3 straight before last week's loss to Phoenix. It looked like that team that had won 3 in a row tonight. Ended up sending that off target.
Number 20, Ben Mines. All substitutions are brought to you by Segra.
Little shove from behind there by Gomez. He gets called for it. And a quick restart, Skundrich.
And you do see Loudoun trying to push the intensity a little bit quicker now, trying to do quick restarts, trying to play in less touches. You do wonder, why does it need to be the 62nd minute and 2-0 down before that intensity of play starts to kick in.
Dambrot for Turner. Going long. It's a good ball. Deflects off of Bravo and out for another corner kick. An IBEW Local 26 corner kick. Empower your future.
Loudoun is a little bit more direct here. Diagonal ball from Turner into the 18-yard box. Ends up creating something. Find himself with a corner kick. Was Mines trying to get on the end of that.
Just takes one moment to get back into this. Is that moment going to come here? Nyman. Wide again for Valo. Tingy towards the back post. Nyman steps in, takes a deflection. McIntosh the save, right on the doorstep, another denial. How did that not go for Loudoun?
Great opportunity there for Loudoun to get themselves on the score sheet. It was a brilliant volley from Nyman. McIntosh did exceptionally well to keep that out of the back of the net. He must have seen it late with all the bodies in front of him, but Loudoun having their moment in the game now, turning up the heat a little bit, making things happen.
Still threatening. Not a lot of pace on that shot as it was slipping down. One more look at it.
Edge of the box here.
The first save after the deflection, and then Mines from nearly the same spot he leveled against Pittsburgh last week. What a play by McIntosh, what a save. You might see that on Save of the Week.
It's a great strike from Nyman. Does everything well there. Keeps his eye on the ball, keeps his head over the ball, keeps it low and hard going towards the corner. McIntosh makes a fantastic reaction save, given all the bodies in front of him. He definitely didn't have a clear view of the ball.
And if you're Loudoun United, you just hope that now in the 65th minute, that isn't the only chance you have to get back into this. It could be so demoralizing, I feel like, sometimes to have two quality chances like that get turned aside. So demoralizing, hard to come back and get back into it.
And you have to give Oakland credit well, because McIntosh has come up with two big saves, but the reaction of the defenders to the second ball has also been very good. So they've had their moments in the game where they've had to defend well, and they've stepped up big in those moments. And obviously they've been decent in the offense as well so far in today's game.
Couple of substitutions for Benny Feilhaber. Wolfgang Prentice will enter the match. Wolfgang Prentice, one of two to play in every game across all competitions this year for Oakland Roots. And Mabosi Biaranga comes on for Daniel Gomez. Biaranga on loan from Austin FC. Justin Rasmussen's departure has kind of opened up some more playing time for some of these midfielders like Biaranga. And there he is. A night that's been incredibly frustrating for Loudoun. Nearly pulled one back. See how they respond, if they can stay focused and keep on threatening. Gagi had to come out for a moment. You see him at the bottom of your screen. Mines. Turner calmly. Ends up with Julian Bravo of Oakland. Slides it forward for Prentice with his fresh legs. Gibson off target, and Tingy. He goes down. Out for a throw to Oakland. Hackshaw right now has the GWG if all things stay the same. Opening goal in the 22nd minute, first in USL Championship play this year. Fires one towards the back post, and that takes a deflection off Dambrot, out for a corner kick to Oakland. It's their second of the match. Looks like Hackshaw wanted a towel to dry off that ball before putting it in play. Again, it rained for quite a bit before warm-ups. We weren't sure if we were going to get started on time.
That's normally the universal signal for I have a long throw.
Not a corner, of course.
With the way Hackshaw throws it in, it could definitely be considered a corner.
Gets it wiped off again, and Hackshaw gets another go at it. It's a good throw in. Loudoun made the first play on it. Gibson tried to head it forward one more time. Keeps it alive at least for the moment. Gagi got a piece of it. Prentice did as well. Dambrot. Tight quarters. Learman pressured by Prentice. Velo now. Look at this Oakland pressure.
Interested to see if they can get out from here.
McIntosh, couple of big point-blank saves, best chances of the night a few moments ago for Loudoun. Loudoun's been so good at home this season. Oakland's been solid on the road, 3 wins in their 7 away fixtures. This will be one of their best wins of the year. They can hang on these final 20 minutes.
Come see what's trending on Karamo. He has deleted 1,938 texts in the last 30 days. See what's taking over everybody's feed all season on Karamo.
Weekdays at 3 on DCW 50.
Just about 20 minutes left here at Segra Field here in Virginia. Loudoun United, the 3rd place team in the Eastern Conference, against Oakland Roots, right on the cusp of a playoff spot in the West. Only meeting between these two sides this season. And it's been all Oakland. Been a different team under Benny Feilhaber. 7th match under his guidance, as Skundrich is called for a foul. Much to the frustration of Florian Velo and the Loudoun United sideline. It's Wolfgang Prentice who went down. Benny Feilhaber watches on. Oakland's a really good job. I mean, they just took over the old Oakland Raiders facility. That's where they call home now during the week. Oakland Coliseum is consistently drawn 4,000 to 8,000 fans a game. Created a really good atmosphere there. They've become Oakland's team. With the Raiders gone, the Athletics gone. It's the Roots who are there filling that spot. And if these first 7 games under Benny Feilhaber are any indication, this could be a fun second half of the season there for the Roots.
I hope you're adding this time.
A lot of time being wasted here from my Oakland Roots. Velo trying to spring. Ryan catches up to it. The all-time leading goal scorer for Loudoun United plays it across.
It's a good ball there for Ryan.
Dambrot keeps it alive. Aua takes a deflection, pops it into the air. Donor heads it out, and it will be a corner for Loudoun United.
I think Velo just loses his foot in there as the ball comes in there from Ryan.
IBEW corner kick. Empower your future. Another opportunity here for Loudoun United to draw one back. 73rd minute. Velo will deliver in. Tied for 2nd in the league in assists. No Abakura tonight. McIntosh punches it away. Not out of the woods yet. Sent back towards goal. Spits back out. Tingy puts it wide. Velo delivers across. Skundrich trying to track it down and does. Plays it towards the back post, but it's over everything and into the seats for a goal kick.
Wow, effort there from Skundrich. Loudoun were just doing a good job of sustaining the pressure in the attacking third there. After the corner kick, they were finding a way to win the seconds, keeping Oakland pegged back in their own 18-yard box. Just lacked quality on that final strike there from Skundrich. Failing to test McIntosh in between the sticks.
It's been a frustrating night for the home side. Game number 200 for their head coach, Ryan Martin, is presented with a gift before the match in a pregame ceremony. 7th season as the head coach. Was the coach of the month in April, first time for him, first time for a coach of Loudoun United. Kendall McIntosh, by the way, got booked a moment ago for time wasting. Wolfgang Prentice, talked about promotion relegation earlier. He used to play for Forward Madison of USL League One. Hackshaw for Bravo. And those long sleeves. Orhonga played in. Now Riley playing for Kai Green, who's unavailable tonight. Riley gets around Dambrot, but his pass errant, intended for Armanakis. Loudoun give it right back.
And you see, even now, when the play turns over, they're a little bit slow to transition to defense. So there's the opportunity now for
Almasnawi, his pass deflected.
For Oakland to get behind them. If they're able to, when they win that ball, to play that first pass forward, they're going to be able to catch Loudoun without numbers behind the ball and able to take advantage of them.
Ben Mines pushing in the final 15 minutes. Mines across, Velo denied again by McIntosh. How huge has he been the last 10 minutes?
I think Velo wishes that he had this back. He hits this one straight down the middle at McIntosh, and I think McIntosh has it back. Probably wishes he's held on to it also. It's a great delivery here, and again, it's just straight down the middle at McIntosh. He probably should have held on to that also. Not too much venom on the strike, but Donor was there to clear away the danger.
That's the 3rd high danger chance that McIntosh has turned away in the last 10 or 15 minutes. Now Camden Riley getting worked on for Oakland Roots. Benny Feilhaber watching on intensely, talking things over with his staff. 3-2-1 in the first 6 matches under Benny Feilhaber. Trying to hang on for another clean sheet. Only conceded 4 goals in these first 6 matches. They've got 3 clean sheets under Benny Feilhaber already. Trying to make it a 4th tonight. Mines as Riley sprints back on. Long time here to get this throw-in in play. Oakland's done that quite a bit these last few minutes.
Definitely working the clock a little bit.
Off the throw, taken away by Loudoun.
Especially given you could probably say that the past 10 minutes there's probably been a momentum shift, and it's been Loudoun who have been the ones being a little bit more aggressive offensively.
Understandably so. When you're the team chasing a 2-0 deficit versus the one trying to protect it.
As we spoke about, especially at home in front of your home fans, they expect you to be a little bit more aggressive and try to take the game by the horns.
Could this be a moment? No. Nobody home to deliver or to take that delivery. McIntosh will have himself a goal kick.
Just need to be a little bit more patient in the build-up here. They do well to stretch the field, but instead of it just coming in and you can see there's no one making a run into that area. Just can they sustain possession in the attacking third a little bit longer and try to build the opportunity for that running behind.
Below, who just had a chance turned aside, gave it away. Almost now he's had a strong performance tonight for Oakland. Young player, just 19 years old. Of course, Benny Feilhaber has plenty of experience coaching players of that age in his previous stop with Sporting Kansas City 2 and MLS Next Pro. Biarwanga. Mines closely watching. This is great for Oakland. They are content to just do this.
Yeah, they're forcing Loudoun to run defensively, which is positive, because when they do have possession of the ball, they're not going to have too much energy to be able to take advantage of it, but they're finding the spaces in between them. As you can see, they have good combination play now in between the lines behind the midfield line of Loudoun. They're able to combine and find space and go forward.
Bravo. Prentice, one touch to the outside.
You can see Donor on this right-hand side. If he just holds his width and they're able to switch the point of attack, he's the player that they're going to be able to advance forward from.
Long try, goes wide.
You might say that's a wasted attempt given the length of possession that they had there, and they were still in good possession at that point in time. There probably wasn't a need to take a shot from 30 yards there. They probably could have been a little bit more patient. As we spoke about, they never really switched the point of attack to Donor out on this right-hand side. The ball pretty much stayed on the left-hand side and central instead of really stretching the field.
So Alex Nagy will make an appearance in tonight's match for the final 10 minutes plus stoppage time. Nyman takes a seat. Sub brought to you by Segra. It was interesting, Ryan Martin told us this week that against Pittsburgh, the first time that he had the midfield that they had planned on having coming into the season with Nyman, Skundrich, and Tommy McCabe. McCabe is on the bench tonight, but we haven't seen him in tonight's match.
Yeah, I think being down 2 goals, he's more of a defensive-minded midfielder. He's probably looking at more offensive substitutions. Nyman's unlucky not to get on the score sheet tonight. Obviously, he had that fantastic volley at the edge of the box early in the second half, but he was pretty industrious in the center of the park. Just hasn't been Loudoun's night tonight,
to say the least. Crazier things have happened, though. You have to survive this free kick opportunity. It's on its way for Oakland. Armanakis. Bravo flicks it towards goal, comes out in front. Gagi couldn't make a play on it, and it was last touch off him for a Faru goal kick.
An orthodox set piece almost ended up in a great opportunity there for Oakland.
Below, long ball. Awua lost it. Snowy, excellent job. It's one back by Loudoun.
Yeah, with Velo being this deep and wide, it's going to be really hard for him to create goal-scoring opportunities.
Slid forward, but Ryan just had it elude him. And McIntosh aggressive falls on it in the 82nd minute.
I know.
Nearly excellent from Turner. That's out for a Loudoun United throw. Still just if you subscribe to XG and you're a believer in that, 0.17 for Loudoun tonight. Just 2 shots on target they've been credited with. Should be 3. Head for Mines with Hackshaw, who scored the first goal. Watching him. It's sent towards McIntosh, and he falls on it.
And with a quality ball into the box there, Ryan was ahead of all the defenders. All alone in the middle of the box. The delivery just wasn't good enough. Straightforward for McIntosh to collect. This comes across low and hard on the floor here from Mines. You can see Ryan in the box all alone, and you can see his frustration. Number of bodies going down in these final 10 minutes here for Oakland.
Hackshaw worked on here. We talked a lot about Loudoun tonight, but what have you liked most about Oakland's performance?
I think they found a way to come away from home and be resilient and get a result. I think, as we spoke about, it's no easy place to come and play Loudoun, and they've been a great team so far this season, but they've come today away from home and they've made them look pretty normal. They've dominated possession, they've been more assertive in their possession. Defensively, Loudoun have been questionable. Defensively, Oakland have been pretty solid, and the one or two chances that they've created, they've made Loudoun pay for mistakes. A poor giveaway, they punished them, they made them pay. Not marking the number 9 in the defensive third, Loudoun, Oakland found him, made them pay. So they've been clinical in finding the weaknesses in Loudoun and then punishing them off the back of it.
So E.J. Johnson will enter here for the final moments. Hackshaw will exit. And E.J. Johnson enters, and you know, we talk about how this is Benny Feilhaber's 7th match at the helm with Oakland Roots. I did his first game against El Paso, and it was such a whirlwind of a process. They finally settle into somewhat of a routine where players now kind of understand the foundation of what he's trying to do and implement since being hired. And I think that's starting to bear itself in their performances in these games.
Yeah, and I think if you go from I wouldn't say a losing culture, but a culture where you're not picking up results for a large part of the season, or picking up as many results or points as you would like, and then a new coach comes in and all of a sudden you start to pick up points. The players need that positive momentum to buy into what the manager's trying to bring or the manager's trying to change. And I think the results will definitely help in getting that buy-in from the players and getting that buy-in from the organization and the fans, so that they can continue to build and grow forward. Because it doesn't matter all the ideas or the coaching qualifications that you have. If you're not winning, it's very difficult for people to believe in it and to fully absorb what you're trying to bring to the organization. So I think the wins definitely, they don't always come early in when coaches take over, but I think having that early foundation of being able to pick up a number of wins will only help to be able to impose himself more on the team and on the organization holistically.
He said, look, you know, we're still doing things that if you had started this process at the beginning of the year in the preseason, you'd be able to implement those and work on those things. But, you know, their process right now is you play a game on a weekend, you hope you win, you figure out what needs improvement, and there's always more to do than there's time to do it in when you come in mid-season. So you're trying to prepare for all these games and game plan while still trying to do things that you'd be doing in the preseason.
Yeah,
and then you have game day as a test, and so far they're passing that test here tonight.
And I think most, I wouldn't say sensible, but most coaches will always start from a place of defense. Can they build a solid foundation, a solid base of defense, and then build the attack from here? And you're seeing a team that's coming on the road to Loudoun and potentially has the capability of keeping a clean sheet. You know, this is always a foundation or a good trait or a good pattern that you see in teams that are turning a corner, is not just winning games, but they find a way to also keep a clean sheet and stop the opponents from getting themselves on the score sheet. And I think that's been very prevalent for Oakland. If they're able to finish off this game with a clean sheet, I think it'll also be a plus on top of the 3 points, because it builds momentum, it builds confidence in the defense, and again, it gets that buy-in from the players in the team.
Velo has space. Mines with Prentice on him. Mines earns the corner. IBEW Local 26, empower your future. I just wonder, for Loudoun United, if they were able to push like this in the first half, if maybe they'd be in a different spot. Goals in the 22nd and 27th minute by Hackshaw and Peter Wilson. Velo delivers in. Deflects out. It's Aua. Floats it again towards goal. And it's headed away for another corner kick. IBEW, local 26.
Headed away there by Bravo, but it would probably have been smart for McIntosh to claim that. There was nobody around him, no pressure. They've conceded another corner kick, giving Loudoun another opportunity to get themselves on the score sheet in this game. The dying phases. Hackshaw, obviously one of the better headers of the ball here for this Oakland team, is no longer in the field. So if there's any margin of advantage that Loudoun could take at this moment, it's that.
One more time for Velo from the other side. Ehrman got a piece of it, but cleared away. Prentice. Wonga kept it in along that touchline. Al-Masnawi fighting through. Al-Masnawi sliding it ahead, but Farouk, aggressive, comes up to grab it in the final minute of regulation. Farouk wanted a little retaliation there on E.J. Johnson. Mines. Wide, low, cross, Gagi clears, throw in for Loudoun upcoming.
That's what I get for laughing.
You okay? King and Tingy will throw in. Should have a healthy amount of stoppage time. Below the header. Oh, McIntosh! Are you serious? And then another injury for Oakland Roots. Kendall McIntosh, my goodness. We'll have 7 minutes, a minimum of 7 minutes of stoppage time here in the second half, brought to you by Novec. Novec's energy-saving tips are a real game changer. Kendall McIntosh, a real game changer tonight.
Yeah, it's a brilliant header from Velodo. Gets up nice and early, directs it towards the side net, and then McIntosh just leaps to his left-hand side and parries it away. We spoke about the aerial advantage, or the margin that Loudoun would have gained by Hackshaw no longer being in the box from those aerial deliveries, and we see it implemented immediately with Velo getting a fantastic header there on target.
Frustrating night for Loudoun. They've had plenty of chances in this second half, but Kendall McIntosh has come up massive since about the 1 hour mark of this game. Couple more subs coming for Oakland Roots. Alexiev will enter. Armanakis will come off. Fresh legs with Alexiev coming in. The 19-year-old. Performance tonight from Armanakis against his former club. McIntosh kind of feel on top of the world right now.
As we spoke about, Oakland having a clean sheet will be as big as the win if this result holds.
It would surpass their total from last year. Johnson trying to weave his way through. He does. Johnson denied, and then the post gets the best of him on the follow-up.
Some fantastic individual brilliance here from Johnson to create this goal-scoring opportunity. Sucks in the two defenders, then drives in between the two of them, forces a big save out Farouk the first time. Then it ricochets back to him for a second opportunity, hits the outside of the post.
push has been there from Loudoun in this second half. But Kendall McIntosh was having none of it. This isn't one of those clean sheets where the opposition isn't able to come up with high danger chances. Kendall McIntosh has needed every bit of this performance tonight. And that, of course, is if they end up earning the clean sheet. He's got 6 saves tonight. Dambrot over the head of Zach Ryan. There's another look at that effort from E.J. Johnson.
See patience here, just waits for that moment to dive in between the two. The first shot, great save from Farouk. Second one comes back and just he's losing his composure, using his balance, swings a foot in, it just ricochets off the outside of the post, but could have easily put Oakland ahead 3-0.
They do have that 2-goal cushion. Valo, he's been denied twice. Good ball forward. Here comes Ryan in front. McIntosh again. He is unconscious tonight.
Again, there we saw the ability that Valo has. When you find him in those dangerous areas, he has the ability to break through the defense. The first pass, the square across the box, and again, it should be a goal. There shouldn't be any question marks about this. But again, the strike is straight down the middle into the hands of McIntosh, who makes a fantastic first save. Probably should have reacted a little bit better and kept his team possession and held on to the ball with the second one. But again, he's been pivotal in keeping the clean sheet for his team so far in today's game. But the finishing from Loudoun in the chances they created has been straight down the middle of the goal. Nobody's picking the corners.
Valo, after Alexiev just picked up a yellow for Oakland.
It's definitely been a better second half for Loudoun, both in chances created, possession, purpose of their possession, whether that's been the substitutions that are coming to the game or Oakland have just dropped their approach and dropped a little bit deeper. It's been a lot more vibrant for Loudoun in the second half.
Valo trying to pick at that top corner and whistles it high, and he puts his jersey over his face in frustration. He has had 2 chances on the doorstep in this second half. Trying to pick up the slack for Abdelatif Albacora.
And this is what we spoke about. Loudoun haven't been fantastic tonight, but they've definitely had a couple of chances where they could leave this game tied. But they've not been clinical enough in the attacking third to make the chances that they've had count. We spoke about, well, it's a fantastic save from McIntosh from the header from Valo, but the chance from Valo that goes straight down the middle, the volley from Nyman. There's been a couple of chances that they've had where they could have got themselves level at least, despite not having the best performance on the night. And that's one of the traits that we assign with teams that are able to really go on and compete and do big things throughout the season, is being able to pick up points even when they're not performing at their best.
And they haven't won since June 14th. It's been over a month. If this scoreline holds, it'll be 5 consecutive matches without a win for Loudoun United. Their longest stretch of the season by far. And match number 200 at the helm for Ryan Martin of Loudoun United. Not going the way that he had hoped or envisioned. Benny Feilhaber in his 7th game. What a quality road performance by his side. They get the 2 goals in the first half, and then their keeper, Kendall McIntosh. And we mentioned that throughout. Kai Green absent tonight. And then Hackshaw has missed a bit of time in this second half. McIntosh, that last line of defense, has come up in just an absolutely massive way for his team. And a win for the moment for Oakland will put them above the playoff cut line in the Western Conference. It's amazing how quickly things can change. Dambrot. Cleared away. Learman. Just awaiting the final whistle from Gerald Flores. Cross, it's low. Bravo, a piece of it. Valo. Dambrot, his shot was blocked. Below has it again. And that's all the way towards McIntosh. And that might be the final gasp for Loudoun United tonight. The game for that man right there. Kendall McIntosh, the 31-year-old, top 5 in the league in saves, top 10 all-time in league history in saves. And he showed you his quality in this second half, putting the finishing touches on this for Benny Feilhaber and Oakland Roots.
Some fantastic shot stopping from McIntosh. There's a couple of moments where I feel like he could keep his team in possession after those saves, but he's come up big for his team tonight and is an integral part of why they could be leaving here with 3 points, but also leaving with a clean sheet tonight.
Loudoun's going to keep pushing. Riley clears that, for the moment at least. Bravo finishes the job. Skundrich for Dan Bravo. Orion Velo gets it back. Delivers in. Deflected by Oakland. Cleared away, and the final whistle blows. What a performance by Oakland Roots. A cross-country trip into the couple of goals. A handful of massive saves, and 3 points going back to Oakland.
Yeah, and it wasn't just the goals and the offensive. You can see at the end of the game there, they're under intense pressure. You can see the teammates grabbing McIntosh because they know he's going big tonight, but there's moments there at the end of the game where you can see they weren't in possession of the ball. They were challenged to defend well, and they did step up and defend well at the end of the game. So I think overall, a very good performance from Oakland.
It's time for our save of the match presented by Segra, but this is actually saves of the match. Kendall McIntosh, 3 massive stops right on the doorstep.
Yeah, this one I thought straight down the middle, but he does well to save it. Probably should have held on to it on the second attempt, but he was absolutely massive for his team tonight. Deserves this man of the match award.
6th clean sheet of the season for Oakland Roots. 4th under Benny Feilhaber. It's a 2-0 win for Oakland over Loudoun.
Super serving the DMV means covering the entire DMV.
Whether with a regional approach, so you know what's moving in and where the action will be.
And most importantly, so you know when it's getting serious. DMV First Warn Days on DC News Now means you need to be weather aware.
So you can prepare, plan, and keep your family safe.
DC News Now, super serving the entire DMV. Get your forecast at dcnewsnow.com.
Michelle, I'm starting to like this new edition that you surprised me with.
Well, you better, because it's not like we can send it back.
What's truly exciting is the expanded reach we now have with the public. Radley can now handle all of your automotive needs from Fredericksburg to Leesburg.
We're essentially offering double the resources to our customers, twice the service capacity, twice the parts inventory, and twice the supply of new and pre-owned vehicles.
Visit Michelle Radley Chevrolet in Leesburg.
A tough night for Loudoun United. They fall at home 2-0 to Oakland Roots. Josh Appel, Chris Nurse here to wrap things up for you as we take a look at our match highlights. The goal scoring happened in a span of 5 minutes in the first half, both for Oakland Roots. Ryan Martin talked about cleaning up the silly mistakes. A silly mistake leads to Neville Heckshaw's first goal of the season.
Yeah, bad giveaway. Hackshaw, unsuspected striker here. First time finish from about 25 yards, to be fair, giving credit for Rue. Probably didn't see it till late, squeezes under his body into the back of the net. Oakland enjoying their celebrations.
Just 5 minutes later, a big storyline last week in the loss to Phoenix. Chances for Oakland to add on to their 1-0 lead. They were unable to. They end up falling 2-1. Peter Wilson was the culprit last week. This week he gets a chance, doesn't waste it. The 2-0 score at that point. Oakland didn't look back.
Yeah, nobody marking Wilson in and around the 18-yard, but all along, spread the ball out his feet, buries it into the side netting.
Full-time stats. Oakland Roots End up getting outshot by Loudoun, 11-9, 5-3 on target. But of course, Oakland sitting back and defending in that second half. And Kendall McIntosh protecting that shutout, earning the clean sheet. 2-0 the final. Chris, your final thoughts on tonight?
Yeah, the game was won in the first half. Loudoun just didn't show up in that opening half. They played much better in the second half, but 2-0 down against a growing and building Oakland team was too much to come back from in the second half. So the game was won in the first half, unfortunately.
Well, that'll do it for us here from Segra Field in Virginia. Loudoun United now winless in their previous 5 matches after Oakland Roots comes across the country, scores twice in the first half. They take the victory 2-0, and the 3 points huge in the Western Conference. For Chris Nurse and our entire crew, this is Josh Appel saying so long. Thanks so much for joining us. We will talk to you next time.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the express written consent of the United Soccer League.